Patriots have a new piece. As we mentioned earlier, the Ezekiel Elliott expected signing. It's not final yet, but it's expected he's going to sign with the Patriots on a one-year deal worth up to $6 million. That means the base is probably significantly less than that. That's when the agent wants to make it look good. That's when people want to save face. A guy that was making $12, $13 million a year up to $6 million could be a $3 million base that he could double with performance and production.
I would bet it's around there, right? 3 to 4 million.
Up to does up to does a hell of a lot of work when it comes to agents trying to make deals look better than they are, and the people who are in the business of giving people a 5-minute heads up over what we're going to know about anyway. They just blindly run with it because otherwise you don't get the text. If you're not going to play the game and trumpet the bullcrap for the agent, you're going to be there while everybody else has the report. You're not going to have it. So up to $6 million is what everyone is saying. We'll get to the truth at some point. Look, Elliott didn't have a lot of options. Remember when his camp put out there he's interested in the Bengals, the Eagles. He's considering the Bengals, the Eagles, and the Jets. Right. And it was like all three teams. Well, we're not interested in him. Right. So it took months for him to get something. And the Patriots were the only team that I think brought him in for a visit. Unless I'm missing somebody, it was the Patriots or nobody. The Cowboys had maybe talked about leaving the door open, but I don't think that was ever going to happen. So the Patriots are where he's going to be, apparently, for 2023.
Yeah, I mean, good for Zeke Elliott. Good for him. He's not done. Does he got a little tread on the tire? Sure. Are the days of 1,000-yard rusher over? 100%. You know that, right? I mean, I am interested to see what that real number is in this contract, because New England's usually a little stingy with paying in these certain situations, especially at that running back position. But like we talked about Vrabel being old school and that mindset, like Belichick, of course, is old school as well. And there's two things that he likes on his roster. One is an old school, big, thumping middle linebacker. He's got to have one of those. Even when it's like kind of outdated in the NFL, the Patriots are still one of those teams that's got these huge middle linebackers. And then the other one is a sledgehammer power running back. Corey Dillon, LeGarrette Blount, Otis Anderson, O.J. Anderson back in the day, right? There's great value in those type of players. And I think especially to Bill Belichick, because he looks at it and goes, 3rd and goal at the 1 foot line. That's a big play. That guy can smash it in there. 3rd and 1 at the 48-yard line to continue a drive and keep my defense off the field and keep moving the clock and wearing on the team. He finds value in that. And I think he probably looks at that roster and goes, wait, we don't have that guy right now. We have Rhamondre Stevenson, but a little bit like we were talking about the Jets. After that, do we have anybody there that I could trust to do some of the dirty work and, situational football, pick up blitzes and do all that? I think that's probably where the Patriots looked at it a little bit scary. Rhamondre Stevenson's the guy, but now you got Ezekiel Elliott, who's a veteran guy who could take a little workload off and do some of the detailed stuff that, the New England offense will ask a running back to do.
Strange depth chart, unofficially posted last week by the Patriots. They've got Ty Montgomery on the roster listed as a receiver. On their unofficial depth chart, he's one of the starting running backs along with Rhamondre Stevenson. You've got J.J. Taylor, Pierre Strong Jr., C.J. Marable, Kevin Harris also on there. And we know what the Patriots do. It's one of the reasons why we always thought Josh Jacobs was not long for the Raiders, because that McDaniels mindset, and Bill O'Brien, I think, will have it as well, where you have your stable of running backs. You put together your game plan to counter what you plan or what you expect from the opposing defense, how you're going to attack it, which skill set from our running backs do we need? Do we need a guy that's going to run outside the tackles? Do we need a guy that's going to run inside? Do we need a guy that's going to catch passes? Do we need a guy that's going to block? What do we need in this week's game plan? And that's what it's going to be for Ezekiel Elliott. There's going to be an Ezekiel Elliott game, and then there may not be one for a couple of weeks. It's going to be a Rhamondre Stevenson game. Maybe there's going to be a Ty Montgomery game, right? And I think Elliott has to accept that going in. And the good news for Elliott is it extends his career if he's not used the way that he was earlier in it, where he's that sledgehammer all the time. He can maybe milk a few more years out of it. He could try to, have enough good tape this year that maybe somebody gives him a shot next year, although we know which way the wind's blowing on the running back position, and he will be another year older in 2024, as we all will be. So it's, I was always surprised that they were interested. More importantly, I was surprised he was interested. But I think at the end of the day,
limited
there
options,
aren't many
like
teams
you
interested
said.
in you.
Right.
You better get interested in who is, or you're going to be watching this year.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. And I think, to your point, it'll be situational football. I think Rhamondre Stevenson's the guy, and they will work him. I mean, he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, right? He was pretty good in the pass game coming out of the backfield too. But I think one of the ways they take a little bit of the workload off of him is kind of what you're saying. Hey, first, second, third, and short this week, it's Ezekiel Elliott. Rhamondre, we'll save you. You don't have to take those car crash hits. Some of the pass plays in the pass game, like you're saying. Hey, we'll get this guy out here to do this. We'll do. Hey, Ty Montgomery, hey, you take these handful of plays. I think you're exactly right. I think Rhamondre Stevenson's the guy, and then little parts of the game will dictate who comes in to run a little special package for them specifically in the game, and I think that's what we'll see from the Patriots this year.
Rhamondre Stevenson is still operating under his rookie contract. I mean, a lot of clues will reside in the financial pecking order at the position. Stevenson due to make $940,000 this year. Again, that has to do with the fact that he's still in his rookie deal.
Yeah, it's year
I'm going to
three.
be very curious, Chris, to see how Ezekiel Elliott's deal is structured. That up to $6 million. You just, folks, always be suspicious and curious when you hear up to and nothing else. Like at least with Cook, we're hearing 7 base up to 8.6. When all you get is the up to, the implication is the base may not be anything to write home about. It's definitely not anything to brag about, and it's not even being talked about. So what will happen is, at some point after the deal is signed, the contract will be available both through the league and the union, and I'll get my hands on it, and we'll know exactly what Ezekiel Elliott is guaranteed to make this year, what the base is, and then how it is that he gets to 6. Does he have to be the Super Bowl MVP to get to 6? I mean, sometimes those packages in there, Chris, you've seen them. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I know.
You have to cure polio to become eligible for the high-end package.
That's what I would expect. I would expect a lot of that. Yeah, right. I would expect a lot of that. That's what I would think. I mean, Rhamondre Stevenson, like we said, is really damn good. It's really damn good. I mean, he was 1,000 yards rushing last year with a kindergarten pass offense. Let's not forget that. So that was pretty good, right? And they had some issues on the O-line and things there that they had to work out. So that's where it is. And then, hey, guys, throw up the graphic we saw of the yards and stats of Ezekiel Elliott over the last few years. That's another one. I mean, again, money, all that. Hey, Ezekiel Elliott's been paid. Rhamondre Stevenson hasn't. This guy has been making $15 million a year, averaging 65 yards a game in 2020, 58 yards a game in 2021, 58 yards game in 2022, and he's been making $14 and $15 million a year. So, at this point, I just look at him and go, hey, you got paid. I'm glad you're getting more. I don't expect it to be a big number. We've talked about it a lot, right? We showed a ton of highlights here. Ezekiel Elliott between the tackles, car crash runner, but in space, there's meat left on the bone a lot of the times. That's why they turned to Tony Pollard, and they turned to him too late in a lot of ways. You and I think, both agree on that. So we'll see what Zeke has in the tank here, and I would think, like you're saying, it's a significantly lower number than $6 million.
4 years ago, when Ezekiel Elliott held out, we advocated for him to do so. He got a great contract, and he ended up getting too great of a contract, a contract that tied the Cowboys' hands. They would have cut him a year ago based upon his production, but that contract had the rolling guarantees where the 2021 money was guaranteed in 2020. The 2022 money was guaranteed in 2021. They couldn't get out of it. They had a tough spot after the 2021 season, and they were stuck. They couldn't escape the deal. it ended up being very good for Ezekiel Elliott. But it's another reason why teams are skittish about giving these big contracts to running backs.
Right.
Because you quickly regret it because they're older, they're banged up, they're not performing the way they used to, and we can get younger, cheaper guys to do definitely what they're doing now, and younger, cheaper guys to maybe become who they were early in their careers. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.